What is up, guys? It's time for Dylan, back at it again with another crypto video. What is up, guys? It's time for Dylan, back at it again with another electronics tutorial. Once again, we're digging into the most complete starter kit by Elegoo, and we're continuing off of the last lesson that we did, talking all about the passive buzzer. So in the last tutorial, what we did was lesson 7 of our most complete starter kit, and we learned how to actually produce some frequencies, some notes, some different pitches from the passive buzzer. So what I decided to do, if you saw at the end of the last lesson, I said it would be cool to make a song. So that's exactly what I did. I figured out how to make just a very simple song. Mary Had a Little Lamb. Made another array which will hold the duration of each note. This way we're able to get the spacing of the notes correct. And of course, very simple little loop where it just goes through at the end of the song. It pauses for 1 second and then repeats the entire loop. So let's show you guys how it works. Of course, we click play. So just commented out the code and turn off the buzzer just so we can go through and take a look at how this code actually works. So I just went ahead and commented out the code, uploaded it, the loop with nothing in it so that it's not beeping. And now I just want to explain how this code actually works. So just like our main code example that was given to us in lesson 7, we have a melody array that holds 8 notes. And then of course we had the int duration, which is the duration of the delay, which we kept pretty much the same throughout the entire loop. So if you want to make a song, what you have to do first is you have to figure out what notes you need. So the way you open up this file here, pitches.h, you just hover over here and it will show you exactly where it's located in your directory. So go look for this, open it up. If you happen to have an IDE like Qt Creator, it will probably default open it up there. But you can open it up in Notepad. That way you can just see what the notes are, what the frequencies are. That way you're able to figure out what notes you need for the song. So what you could do is you could literally just look up what are the notes to Mary Had a Little Lamb. Boom. And any of these websites will do. So you could figure out which notes you want it to be in, which key. It really doesn't matter. Just pick one and stick with it. In this version, it's C, D, and E. So for us, we have the same thing, C, D, and E. Now what you want to do is you just want to pick one octave. So you could do C1, you could do C2, you could do C3, doesn't matter. Just keep it in the same range. So if we pick C4, pick D4 and E4. If you want to pick C7, do D7 and E7 as well. That way it's all in the same range. Once you figure that out, you just need to figure out which notes go where. So if you have a piano, you can figure it out on the piano. If you have a guitar, you can figure it out on the guitar. Or you could just plug in values and try and figure it out on your own. Or, of course, you could just ask ChatGPT, what are the notes? Boom, and ChatGPT will literally tell you what the notes are. You could literally ask ChatGPT to write this entire code for you. I wouldn't recommend doing that. Just figure it out on your own. Because at the end of the day, you want to learn how to do this. You don't want some robot to take your job. You want to be the one that does it. So anyway, once you have all the notes, what you need to do, the easiest way I found to do this, especially for a simple song like Mary Had a Little Lamb, is you just need to place them in the correct order, right? Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb, Mary, and then it just restarts. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. Once you have the notes in the correct order, we just need to figure out the duration. So I made another array called duration. Instead of having just one variable up here, which will have the same duration for every single note that comes out, you just want to set the duration. Think about it in your head, right? It goes, Mary had a little lamb. This one should be twice as long. Little lamb. This one should be twice as long. Little lamb. Mary had a little llamas, beam, 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 beam. So that's how you figure out the spacing. And you could do whatever. You could do 500, 1,000. You could do 100, 200. It doesn't really matter as long as the notes that are supposed to be longer are twice as long as the initial duration of all these notes. So that's how you figure this out. Make sure that you have the same number of duration ints in this array as you do notes. And when you come down into the loop, it's actually pretty simple. So the way you're going to do this is you're just going to have, just like this last loop, you're going to set it up so that it starts at 0 and it goes to the size of this particular array, or it could even be this array. It doesn't matter since they're both the same size. And then of course you want to increment by 1 every time. So then, just like we do in this particular loop, we have the tone function, which will take a number. The number is the output. So this will be the output pin. And if you remember, coming over to our phone view, we are using pin number 8 to send the signal. So pin number 8 needs to be the variable that you're using here. And really, whatever pin you're using to power the source is the number that needs to go here. Now, what we've done in past tutorials is we've set a variable up at the top. We've named it whatever, int pin equals 8. And then that way, when you come down here, you could type in pin instead of 8. But it really doesn't matter. You can hard code it like this. It really doesn't make a difference. So anyway, when you call this function, tone, it's going to call pin 8. It's going to send some electricity to that pin. The melody or the note that it's going to play, which is the second parameter, it's going to be the note or the frequency of the pitch. The frequency is the pitch, is the note, right? Which all corresponds to these values here, which we've basically set up in this array. So when it gets here, it's going to call a certain note from this array based on the value of this variable. So we start at 0. Every time we come through here, we're going to add 1. So we start at 0. Boom. We're calling note E4. So that's what's going to get passed in right here. Note E4. The next parameter is duration. This one is coming from this array. And it's going to pull which value? Well, the same value right here. This note, it's going to pull the first one. Starting with 0. Each time it goes through, this note is going to increase by 1. Which will move to the next variable. Now, arrays start with 0 and end with whatever the size is minus 1. So just remember that. It's always 0 based. So after it plays the note, which basically sends electricity, how much electricity? This much frequency to the passive buzzer for this long. It's going to play the note for that long. Then it's going to delay. And the delay is going to be this duration plus 50. We're just adding a slight little gap between the notes. After it goes through this loop, how many times? However many notes we have in this array, however many durations we have in this array, which should be the same length. So after it plays those notes, it's going to pop out of this loop and it's going to wait 1 second. So that's why we get the whole song. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. And then it pauses for 1 second and then it restarts. So those pauses in the duration, right? The long notes, they come from this array right here because we have a longer delay on those notes, or the longer duration that those notes are going to be playing. At the end, it just delays. It doesn't play any note for 1 whole second. So that's pretty much how this thing works. And if you want to see it one more time, let's go ahead and run it. Pop on over here. So that's pretty much how you do it, guys. If you made it this far, shout out to you guys. You now know how to make 8-bit songs with your Arduino's passive buzzer or your Elegoo Uno R3's passive buzzer. Pretty cool. Like I said in the last video, I'm interested to see which songs you guys can create. Of course, this is just the simplest song I can think of. Marietta Little Lamb, 3 notes. Easiest song we can possibly think of. One little added bonus I will say, if you're getting stuck, you can't figure it out, ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT is an awesome resource you guys can use to help you implement code that you're having trouble implementing. I always just say this. Try to do it on your own first. If you can't do it, then ask ChatGPT. Don't use it as a crutch. Use it as a resource. But that's all I have for you guys today. If you made it this far, you guys are awesome. Smash that like button, drop a comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you guys are still here. I'm going to be posting the next episode of our tutorial, which of course is going to be lesson number 8, tilt ball switch. This is like a very simple accelerometer, kind of simple, simpler than an accelerometer, but we're gonna get there. Lesson 8 of 33. So make sure you guys stay tuned. We're almost 1/3 of the way done with our tutorial series. Once we're done, we're going to start building some pretty cool projects. Make sure you guys stay tuned until the end. Thank you guys so much. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are. Dylan is out.